We will let you have a couple of minutes to get your thoughts and prepare some questions if you have any. Obaidah, I will not talk too much politics with you, but more about the film. And I have my first question would be, this is a co-production, and you have a co-director on the film, even though this was your very own personal story. So when did the Danish co-director come to the film, and how did it happen that you had this collaboration? I will just say that Obaidah prefers to answer in Arabic, so I will do my best to offer you an accurate. إذا بتحبي.
Like I may be talking Arabic, but I start with English. So the project had been started early 2009 as Hussam, as you watch Hussam telling. It was following the movement, the art movement of the uprising around the region. And in 2011, officially, the Danish team joined us because we have friends, we are communicating with them, and then it started to be like official production. But the film has been a complicated journey, like the Syrian story, and there have been like some troubles on the way to have it in a accessible form and accessible language. So at the end, we made it. It's been freezed like as film production twice. 2013 and 2014, but later we managed to find the language and to have like good intentions about the artistic form and about this story specifically. It's not personal issues, it's a country and the country witnessing a moments in history. So yeah, I think we made it.
And did you decide since the very beginning that you wanted to have the story told in chapters?
Yes, especially the 7 chapters. When we started, I tried to think of the basic form for art, which is like the 7 days of creation. In the Abrahamic books, which like can explain the creation in 7 days. But of course later, through the process and through the stages from uprising to war, it have been massive changes occurred to the process and to the intentions, not only the elements or methods, our methods that time. But likely for يعني a good how we say يعني لحسن الحظ. Yeah. This film was accompanied with a project called Waw al-Wasl. It's about the art form and the art movement have been going on and still. But the media flow was highly coding the information coming from the region to like, in some way, look to me as devil, preventing this art movement to be showing to outsiders. Yeah. Talk a lot. When you let me, I really go.
You're originally a radio presenter, and this is your second feature, documentary feature.
It is.
How did that background, I mean, the background of you being a radio presenter, now moving into something that is extremely visual, actually, and like portraying something not just for the ear but also for the eye? How did you conceive the whole thing. Did you see yourself going this far with this film? Because obviously every day is a changing day and every event brings a different event. So how did your background as a radio presenter play a role?
I mean, in media field in Syria, like it's so much different from here. You know, a dictatorial rolling every word going on air. So it was tricky, but some kind of fun. And radio is my passion, but the accelerating concerning the image and like camera sickness we got. But especially the image was structured around the flow of the images, like we've been also introduced to this medium as being a witness, and later it became so critical, like a shaheed. When you have a camera, so you can die for that, easy die. So sometimes it's a necessity, like it's the last weapon you have, like to have a camera and talk to it, and like many Syrians did have that effect. And of course, it's war information. It's the camera. It will be like mainly having main role. So I'm affected with that sense. But cinema always have been like high coded, yani artistic code for me, and it's holy. So I want to make it some to that extent. And it took us almost 6 years to build this. To be real, and wasn't easy. So, yeah, cinema was really hard. But I think some footages are existed everywhere online. You watch it here, and like many other films did great by showing the story of Syria and the cases. But here, sometimes Warsaw is specifically studying the mechanism for how that happened, and it got some good techniques.
We can ask millions of questions, but I wanted to let the audience share their thoughts, ask Obaidah questions if you have any. Anything, anyone has a question, any concern? Yes? I quit being a radio host in 2011. I had my last show. It's called the Ordinary Show, when like it will never be ordinary or normal. And because, as I said, that regime government controlling all spaces, so was time to quit and be on street. Yeah, the film, it meant to be universal, going everywhere. It's not easy, it's shocking, but this is like kind of reality effect, so hopefully it reach the black-hearted people and like make them rethink more about the crime they are doing if they having hands on that. And I think lots of people are like taking us to hell with good intentions, and they don't mean it. So maybe this film will reach more, expanding the journey for awareness, making awareness for people to rethink and check like who we are supporting, what we are, the overcoding we are getting in being like affected by media or by, let's say, bad plots. So I'm interested now. The Warsaw have been in journey around Europe. It was like a good trip, but first time with Arabic native speakers. So it was important to be here.
hopefully we go like because in somehow like it's a good document for like bringing that moments of glory we witnessed through the uprising. I think we need that.
Do we have any other questions? Yes, there is one.
Thank you. Actually, we are having this phase of consuming information through medias, and it's overcoding us and our ideas. It's when news turning us to be more touristic viewers. And I think it's a good moment now to rethink about and recheck the information and our attitude and like restudy maybe the effect of it. I think because it's overcoding our knowledge and like turning our conscious to somewhere else. We don't want it to go there.
Further comments? Yes, there is one more.
If you think of making a lighter version of this?
Lighter version?
I know there is no, I mean, I know this is representing the reality, but I found it very hard.
Yeah, it is.
She had to do it because the images were too hard. And I remember when I first saw those images from Caesar in the prison, I had sleeping problems for weeks. So, but people that we never got close in contact before, it's really hard to judge it. And I was wondering if this was a discussion in your production team.
Yeah, of course, always until now. It's attacking our senses, and the flow we got from Iraqi war before Syria and from Yemen and Libya, like every day. I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's outgoing. It's a lifestyle in Middle East and the war zone, and it's breeded other ways. It's yeah, I struggled with these images, and I fight sometimes to bring the blood because it's reality and it's our everyday scenes. And I'm sorry to say it's not far from here. As behind the borders, thousands of people are now locked and arrested under torture, and we will get their images sometime. So it's offensive and it's reality, and if we want to blame or react, I think we should stop the war and like disarm the world. And I think politicians now saying they are making more defenses against terrorism, and they forget how deeply they creating the violence, and they are different, and they are not making any good for humanity for the salvation or people's security. What they are making are more weapons. How you solve the issue of weapons by making another weapon and just shooting in some other place outside your farm. So violence, like we can bring examples from the Syrian issue, like it's, I can tell my friend's story he's a musician from Raqqa. The Raqqa is the main يعني منطقة تجمع الدولة الإسلامية. Yeah, capital of ISIS, and he had to he been displaced, and he had to take the يعني let's say 7 doors of hell to reach Turkey. Then he will take the death boat to Greece, and then Italy, and then fight struggles with borders and papers to come to Berlin. So he will be fine here, I'm sure. But at the same time, there is the guy from Berlin. He was originally like born here and like grown up here and spent lots of time on video games. And I witnessed that personally. Like I know names who've been just like that, have all documents and like facilities to be to Izmir or Istanbul and enter Syria and be a jihadi and bombing other people. So it's like tricky to understand, but this is a real documented يعني fact. It's so easy for people to shift here, and most horrible names of Al-Qaeda, like IS, who's in Syria now, they was born and raised in Europe. And Syrians who had to like to be armed, I'm not justifying them, but who had to defend themselves, or like they are locked now to go prison at Al-Assad, the most filthy, horrible matrix on earth ever. They are now still thousands of them witnessing the daily torture, and they are locked. Otherwise, they have to go to fight on the front lines for regime, or they go to the north, where it is all kind of mukhabarat and like war dealers. Yeah, so they have to fight there. So no chance. And like more war manufacturing and monsters creation. Thank you.
Obaidah is with us outside. If you want to talk to her on a more personal level, we have to wrap this Q&A for the next screening. But Obaidah, thank you so much for sharing this film with us.
Thank you, and I apologize for your senses. It's shocking, but recheck it again. It's reality.
And we have...